And I hope he stays with us.
We try
We're gonna need it.
every 2 weeks, unless there's only please. So, moving on, Dan already talked a little bit about the Roberts Cutoff intersection with Meandering Road. I think everybody's aware that we're realigning this in hopes of being able to extend that over to 183. And this will be a signalized intersection.
You already bought that property?
No. I think they're segueing into my next
sorry.
slide. The major right-of-way impact here will be the Quickway. And it has been a while since we've had conversations with that property owner. However, at the time, he was willing to sell.
Did he tell?
At the time, it's been probably 3 years. And
We have not, by law, we cannot legally approach him till now. I mean, there were some conversations about, well, what if? And he generally said he was a willing seller, so let's hope that he's still in that stage.
He still is, what he told me.
So that's the main impact, the only impact for right-of-way is this intersection. And then here's kind of our brag sheet, talking about the things that we have completed. We've completed the public hearing, we had virtual and then the in-person meet and greet. We submitted all of our technical reports for environmental clearance. Our 90% design has already been reviewed by the City of Fort Worth. As a result of the changes that I've spoken about throughout this presentation, both at Rox Lane and at Yale, those updates have been incorporated into our 90% design plans. We've documented all of those things, everything from the feedback to the changes and the results, why that was the result we decided to move forward with, and then we updated the traffic report. All of that leads us to the environmental clearance that was awarded, which, as I mentioned, that is kind of the last big hurdle before we get to construction. Plans are in really good shape. They're 90% done. Next step is to get TxDOT to review those. Those are in review right now. They told us it would be about 3 weeks. Once we get those comments back, we'll be able to get those comments addressed and then turn them back into the city. Mark has got a copy, and then send them back to TxDOT. So we are moving
The
along.
copy you're talking about will be after you do all this. I don't have one of it.
The 90. I sent you a link. There's a link. It's electronic.
All right.
If you need a print, just let me know. But
Okay.
I think it was last week when I asked you to sign the certification.
Okay.
There's a link in that one, but let me know if you don't have it.
Okay.
So that's 90%, 100% will be next. In between, during, concurrently, we'll be working on those right-of-way negotiations and then the utility coordination and relocation. All that is to gear us up for project letting, which will happen March of 2024 in theory, first quarter of 2024. Right-of-way acquisition, there are a few major steps. The first part that we're working on right now is pulling together the right-of-way document, which is a legally binding document, shows where the existing right-of-way is and what we're purchasing. That gets appraised, the property gets appraised, negotiations occur, sounds like from, I forget her name,
Jim? Yes.
Kim.
Yeah.
And then we'll acquire the right-of-way. Same sort of thing with utility adjustments. We've already done the utility investigation, so we know where utilities are, at least from a horizontal standpoint. We've identified where the conflicts tend to be. Our next step is we're meeting with utility owners. We're verifying the information that we're showing. If we need to tweak any of the design to avoid a utility relocation, we'll do that. Otherwise, we will minimize the conflict or we will accommodate and work with the utility owners to relocate.
We don't know where we are on the utility locate for us at Meandering and Roberts Cutoff.
We've gotten quality level B, so we've designated everything.
Okay.
And I know Gordon has verified with us what he has on the ground now and what's anticipated. We'll probably also need to talk with Nikki so that he can get design plans in time for October. So,
Okay.
he said a list of things we need to talk about. That would be great. I'll forget. And so back, yes, back to the roundabout. Looking at the schedule again, that STAR is where environmental clearance is. That's where we stand today. Right-of-way acquisition, utility adjustments are kicking off, and then project letting will happen, we'll get a contractor, and then construction will begin Q2 of 2024. And thank you for listening. What questions can I answer?
Thank you. We decided that, is there gonna be a concrete road, or do we know?
It is,
It is.
unless something crazy happens with the budget, we would,
That's our goal. Nobody's told me otherwise.
right now it's budgeted for concrete.
Have you anticipated getting the old concrete up might be more difficult than usual? I mean,
Well,
that
It's been there since,
concrete.
easier or harder, I don't know, it's been there like since 1947.
I don't know how deep it is.
Yeah.
You know, military usually,
Yeah.
It's huge.
yeah, they usually pour pretty deep, so.
Cost a fortune just to get it, all that out.
What is the estimated life of a concrete road?
We designed for 30 years.
Yeah, so the one that's out there was probably around 1970, was probably 80, some type of something. We're 40 years past when it should have been redone.
But they can grind them in the hot top oven
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
if they're thick enough.
All right, well, we'll be out probably quarterly or something, continue to give you updates on right-of-way acquisition and any issues.
Do appreciate y'all,
And,
and to what Dan said, at the front end, I've worked between here and White Settlement, I've worked with Dan for probably well over a dozen years or so, and he takes some sharp elbows sometimes out here, but he's a hard worker, he's a good guy. Haven't known Jill as long, but just appreciate y'all and all the work you poured into this project.
well, we appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Move on to item number 9, which is discussion and/or action on the request by Antonia Jimenez requesting an extension delaying substandard enforcement on the property at 5524 Gilroy.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jacqueline Jimenez, and if that's okay, I like to translate for my mom. She is Antonia Jimenez, and the reason we're here today is to request an extension for the delay of substandard enforcement for my parents' properties at 5524 Gilroy. And just kind of to let you know the situation. So back in December, after the festivities, Christmas and all that, their house was one of the victims of the freezes that happens here now. So their pipes burst in their house, and so that led to a lot of flooding because they were out of town. So when they came back, their whole house was flooded, leaving the house unlivable. So after a lot of back and forth with their insurance, they had to go ahead and get a lawyer to see if they can figure things out, which is why this big delay since December. So finally, this past week actually, we finally heard back from our insurance, and they have requested estimates for like how much the cost is going to be. So right now, that's where we are. So that's the reason of our request for an extension. We just need a little bit more time to see if the insurance will figure things out with our lawyer. I do want to assure you that no one is living in the house under those conditions, and we are obviously trying our best to figure and find a solution as best as we and quickly as we can.
What is, I know we've got the background in our agenda, or in our packet, what's staff's recommendation?
We have delayed substandard enforcement, allowing them time to work this out. This is not a normal procedure that we go through. Normally we substandard and proceed forward with that. But in this case, under the circumstances, we did delay it, but the delay is out now.
And I think that's a good judgment you made. So how much are you recommending a specific amount of time on this
If,
to be extended?
I never got an exact amount of time that y'all were wanting to extend it, because I extended it 60 days.
Right, yes, and we appreciate that.